Welcome to Voyage of the Geek for another week. This 5th of April 2017. Joining me as always, Dan Miller.
Hey.
Myself, Dave Scotland, as we voyage through all things geek that come our way.
Plumb the depths of
Geekdom. And tonight, we're going to jump straight into a look at the up-and-coming 2017 movies of the tentpole grand variety. And of course, if they're not grand, they're grand for narrative purposes or just basically films that we're excited to see for one reason or the other.
We've certainly got a list of all of the movies that are coming up, and we've got some trailers to look at.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we might cast our opinions on what we think these movies are going to be like. We might need to also match them up later on. You know, if we check them out later on and just see if it lived up to the hype.
Yes. And that's a great idea. Actually, we'll try to record what we talk about in this show, so that yes, when we do actually see these things hit the screen, we can start to look at how it went. Did it measure up, as you say? And were there any surprises there? You know, was there something there? Is there a sleeping giant amongst some of these? I suspect that some of them tend to use all of their best stuff in.
We've certainly seen it before in some of the trailers. They literally, it is all the best stuff, and sometimes not only is it all the best stuff, it's also all of the story. It's also almost no reason. There's a fine art. So anyway, let's talk about trailers and stuff as well. I want to actually have a bit of a discussion about trailers and the art of trailers. So anyway, what do we got?
Well, let's kick it off. The one that I believe has actually just dropped, or if it's not, it's going to drop this week.
It says April 12. If we're talking about Fast and Furious 8.
So what we're going to do is we're going to kick these trailers off. We're going to bring the volume down a little bit. We didn't want you to come here to watch trailers. We want to sort of give them a bit of a play while we're discussing them. So April
12th says here.
What I found interesting about this one when I was having a look at some of these is the director, F. Gary Gray. Now, have you heard of F. Gary Gray before?
Never.
What I can tell you about F. Gary Gray is that he has done recently Straight Outta Compton.
Okay,
critical acclaim.
Yeah,
great film. Yeah. Really good film. He's also done one of my all-time favourite films, Be Cool, which is the second film to Get Shorty.
Ah, okay. Haven't seen that.
You know, Get Shorty. Yeah. The second film, Chili Palmer, the main character played by John Travolta, leaves the movie business in favour of the music business. So it's the same vibe of the first film, where he sort of finds himself in an industry and becomes quite successful in that film industry to the point where he becomes a producer of a film. Well, in this film, it centres around the music industry, and it's got Uma Thurman in it, Cedric the Entertainer. It's a who's who. It's a fantastic film, and the soundtrack is stunning. So he directed it. He's also directed The Italian Job, which was the remake of the original Michael Caine film with Mark Wahlberg and the Minis. Remember the Minis racing through LA?
Yeah.
So I didn't know who the hell he was until I looked it up, and I'm suitably impressed because all of those films are good. They're good films.
Yeah, interesting to choose the guy that did The Italian Job to now go on and do this, another car-focused movie, of course. I can see here Cypress Hill, the Ultimate Video Collection.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Yep. Friday. Remember the original Friday with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube.
Nope.
You got to see it. It's one of the all-time
maybe
greatest comedies.
Maybe I do.
Yeah. About a couple of guys getting high on the.
They're just sitting outside somewhere. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
And so he directed that in '95. So he's had some lineage, and that's got me excited. When I first saw him to look at, and this is a picture I'll throw up. That's what he looks like. Mm-hmm. He actually looks a little younger than he is. He's 1969, right?
Ooh.
So he's been around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's closing in on 50, and his film credits are fantastic. He's acted in a couple of things, produced a couple of things as well. Straight Outta Compton, he was a producer Straight Outta Compton. So that would lead me to think that he's got something to do with the actual writing and the show running process. Same with Be Cool. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Now, how excited are we though of seeing, like, no one does a popcorn film like this, yeah? These guys are crazy. They make billions of dollars off these films, and it's not for the acting, my friend.
That's kind of where I was sort of getting to, is that if you just have a look at the trailer, there's no acting in that trailer.
No.
There's probably no story in that trailer. I don't know if that's relevant or not.
And these are the modern Arnie, Sylvester, Stallone, or Jean-Claude Van Damme of the 90s, 80s. Mm-hmm. This is The Rock. This is Jason Statham. You know, it's a who's who of action films. And and he just has this way of pulling all these people together and keeps turning these films out.
And, you know, if you look at the trailer, it's non-stop action.
Yeah.
And I want to start to sort of notice this as we go through the trailers and just to compare them. Another thing that I wanted to check out was the music. Mm-hmm. What music have they got playing in the trailer?
That's a good idea. Let's crank it up and
that's right. Yes. Wee 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 wee.
Yeah.
So it's the Prodigy.
It's Prodigy.
Right? So so they got the Prodigy all the way through it.
Yep.
And I think it's just, one song, Breathe. Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you.
Firestarter.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. The Prodigy tracks can tend to voodoo people and smack my bitch up, but they start to all wind in together there.
Into one happy kind of blur that happened. Yeah.
So what are your initial thoughts? Where do you predict this one going? Are we going to stick with the status quo, which is it'll do what it always does? What sort of...
First of all, they're up to 8.
Yes.
Fast and Furious 8, for crying out loud. I don't think they can do anything other. I mean, they would have to do what they do. You know, after 8 movies, you probably should be in a groove, and you should be in a successful groove. So anyway, the things that I wanted to take away from the trailer is action.
Yep.
And a suitable movie track that probably also hails back to a certain audience who remember the Prodigy.
Yeah.
And the Prodigy is also just tied in with that action.
Yeah.
It's just like we're not.
It's in your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breathe in the pressure. So
start the fire, smack the bitch.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I think a lot of people overlook, and I did certainly for probably the first 5 of these films. They're always a heist film.
Yeah,
they're because Ocean's 12, right?
Yeah.
It's a heist film.
Yeah,
and sometimes they have multiple heists in the film, but it's all about, okay, here's what we're going to do, and then you see them in their cars, like you don't see them planning it, and it's that heist formula.
Yeah,
and that's all they do. They just stick with the heist formula, and it works perfectly.
And it's a chase for the next 96 minutes.
Yeah, and then they sprinkle it with family. Family's important, sticking together, got each other's back.
Yeah,
and that sort of brings it home to the common person that's in the audience. But and then just put that in amongst explosions and Michael Bay-isms, and you got the formula. It's magic.
Did want to say Michael Bay. It's a bit Michael Bay-ish,
but they could do 20. They could do 20 of these films as long as they stick to that formula. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's a heist, and we want to know how you get away with it. Yeah, cool.
So I think that sums it up. Actually,
yep.
You know.
So let's have a look at the next one.
Cool.
It is Guardians of the Galaxy. super excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, that first opening shot where you see that creature with all the teeth and the big round mouth, there is a Guardians of the Galaxy animated series, Marvel animated series that you can see on Foxtel and wherever else, and it's recent. They have an episode with that beast and the big guy jumping in its mouth with the knives and everything. It's all in there.
Yeah.
So there may be some spoilers without. If you go hunting into that animated series, you might see some spoilers in that series that are going to show up in this film.
I'm pretty sure all of it is very heavily based on lore.
Yeah.
Right? They don't... I think... I've been doing a little bit of research into this. And, yeah, they really do dive into the lore that's already out there in 1,000 comic books. And there's lots of theories out there about what this is all about. Part of it, I think, is a soft reboot.
Yep.
A soft retcon, even.
Yep.
Some of the theories that people have been coming up with is that, the comics are pretty diverse and they've been written by different people at different times. And then even the comic series have reboots and double reboots and stuff like that. And so these movies, all of the Marvel movies are kind of a soft reboot to kind of bring the Marvel universe back together. Yeah. The other interesting thing about all of these is that I think they're all linked in the background. Yeah. So
there's a grand plan.
There's a grand plan.
Absolutely.
Now, we were saying before, what's the difference between Marvel and DC? Yeah, it's starting to become more obvious. Well, not obvious, but more aware that they've got a plan. Yeah. And they're thinking way, way ahead.
Absolutely. It's all about the Infinity Stones.
That's right, the Infinity Stones.
We get introduced to them via the Tesseract. Which we don't know that there's a stone inside the Tesseract, that's causing it to have this special power. The stone that's in Vision's, that's on his forehead there, that's another one of the stones.
And the one that is in one of the magic items that Doctor Strange has, that's another one, right?
Yeah, the time one.
Yeah, the time one,
that's
exactly.
Right. And these all obviously end up at some point in the Gauntlet of Power. Is it the Gauntlet of Power?
The Infinity Gauntlet or something like that. Yeah.
And that's pushing us towards the showdown with the Avengers and what's the big guy with the mega jaw? The guy I'm talking about with the gauntlet.
Thanos.
In which the Guardians actually show up in that film.
Yeah.
As we've heard,
they're all going to be in it. So they've got a bit of a plan. I think it's cool. I don't know. I'm just really kind of impressed. I was been doing a bit of research, and I'm really kind of impressed with that. I think when we get to, there's some other movies in the list here that are going to turn up. What have we got in the list? Yeah, we've got some others in the list here. Thor and Wonder Woman.
Thor, Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, so we've kind of got all of these sort of ones that are in this same sort of zone. Okay, yeah, so super impressed with that. What's the music like in the trailer? Because I want to hear that.
As always, flawless.
Universe lies on your shoulder.
Classic.
We'll all be dead. Now repeat back what I just said.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone. Try again.
I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I'm Groot.
No!
So you've got characters in the trailers.
This is Fox on the Run. So they tap right into the 70s, yeah?
So yeah, tapping, and then you've got Fast and the Furious tapping into the Prodigy.
Yep.
They're really... That's the formula, I think, is the audience of these older fuddy-duddies who actually remember these songs. Absolutely. And they respond to them.
And it's a form of remix. Even if you play the original, but you up the quality of it without doing anything to it at all, but you stick it against something that is not commonly associated with that, you're remixing it. Right? Through vision and audio at the same time. And the same reason why DJs are successful is that you take something that people are familiar with but that they've never heard before. That's the trick of the remix.
And putting two things together that have not been together before creates a new...
I think one of the biggest successful elements of the original is the soundtrack, and that playful attitude towards the music, and that it was part of the storyline, part of the narrative, the tape, the mixtape, and all that sort of stuff. James Gunn directing this one again, also affiliated with the writers James Gunn and Dan Abnett, who I believe may be part of the original. Oh no, James. So you got James Gunn, Dan Abnett, and Andy Lanning, and then of course you've got Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all of the people that were associated with writing the comics.
And then we've got
the original stories.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yes,
going to make a surprise.
Yes, there's some, and there's a couple. Kurt Russell.
Yeah, yes, and Kurt Russell, of course.
And Kurt Russell is one of our sci-fi bread and butter actors from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, one of those classic actors. All right, one more thing that I want to actually start to bring up a bit more repeatedly, specifically about the Marvel Universe, is, one of the last times that I was talking on the show, I was mentioning that I wanted to see the Batman stories where the Batman was, stopping bank robbers.
Yeah.
I have evolved my opinion on that.
All right.
Okay. Not necessarily changed my opinion, but my opinion, the scope of my opinion got bigger.
Okay.
And this is after doing more and more research into the Marvel Universe. Come to find out that Stan Lee deliberately and specifically moved away from the bank robber scenarios in the comics as a conscious effort. Because they were kind of getting into a bit of a rut where Batman, it's, it'd be this bank robber, that bank robber.
Not Batman, not Stan Lee. Stan Lee's Marvel. Batman's DC.
Well, it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I get
it's
you.
It's the same sort of thing.
Okay, cool.
Is they moved to, no, Marvel. So Batman's, a poor example.
Yep.
But they moved away from those sort of mundane stories. And, what Stan Lee was doing was upping the ante.
Yeah.
So that's where magicians start to come out of space.
Yeah. Gods.
Yes, and gods. And then double gods. And then triple gods on top of double gods. And then gods from another dimension. And then the god of all the dimensions. Okay, and it keeps escalating.
Yeah.
So,
and if anything, DC stayed a lot more grounded. There are fewer, I guess, of the crazy magician alien stuff. I mean, Superman's an alien, but ultimately still looks like a normal person, and
yeah. So anyway, what I was saying is that they've still got lots of headroom, right, to really, and that's where this sort of infinity, gauntlet and all this comes in. Is they're just gonna go through the friggin' roof, right? It's just gonna get. I think it's crazy now. Well, they're just gonna, cut loose.
Absolutely.
All right.
So the next on our list is Alien Covenant. Now, this is not an easy trailer to watch for some people. Alien, I grew up in a time where Alien frightened the absolute hell out of me. And the second Alien, the Aliens, the James Cameron masterpiece, was even more scarier than the first. Well, for different reasons.
Yeah,
for different reasons. Yeah, first action. Alien, you've got a crew being hunted by one alien. Second Alien, you've got a small group of people being hunted by many, many, many aliens. They're everywhere, man.
Yeah.
So this, to me, looks like it's a departure from whatever direction he went in for the
later Covenant-y type ones.
What was the previous one? It's a lot.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
Prophecy? It didn't even have the word alien in it. Here, I'll bring up Ridley Scott's directing background. Because he doesn't direct as many movies as a lot of people think. You've got to go past all his producing roles to actually find out the movies that he actually directs. Here we go. He's got 39 directing credits. Alien... why am I not finding it? Oh, Prometheus.
Oh, there you go. I got the P right.
Okay, so this looks like it's a departure from that Prometheus sort of origin story.
The Prometheus, didn't make any sense to me.
And goes back to
Alien.
a shit scary
Alien movie.
sci-fi spooky thriller. Yeah,
Yeah.
with suitable amounts of gore and death and screaming and running and all those juicy things, which I think Prometheus was lacking. It was very cerebral, wasn't it?
I would say not even cerebral. It's almost more strange than that. It's surreal. You know, it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really hang together from a lot of different directions for me. All right, so yes, this does look like Alien, right?
Yes.
It does look like Alien a lot, which is good.
Yep.
Who is the lead actress?
Catherine Waterston.
What is she been in?
I don't know, but is she related to Sam Waterston? Sam Waterston, famously one of the DAs from
No idea.
Law and Order, but also remember the old classic fake Mars landing movie called Capricorn 1? Yeah?
Yes,
Sam
I do.
Waterston was one of the crew. There was James Brolin, or no, the old man Brolin. Is he James? I'm not sure, but the original Brolin, the dad of Thanos. Thanos is his son.
Yeah. Can even remember lines from Capricorn 1.
Oh, it's a great film.
Yeah.
I love it because it parallels the conspiracy theory of the moon landing, you know, and shot on a soundstage and whatever. But these guys escape. It's no, I'm going to tell the truth, damn you, and everyone ends up dead.
The most memorable bit for me is when they all split up and go in different directions, and then one guy climbs a friggin' cliff, and when he gets to the top of the cliff, you know, it's the MIA, the CIA agents are standing at the top of the cliff, and he's like, because they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fuck.
It looks like there's no
She's
there's
in
no
Fantastic
relationship.
Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that's where I remember for. Anyway, when I saw her in the film, and I mean, I didn't want to try and look at the trailer too hard, to be honest with you, because, you know, hyped.
Yep.
But when I saw her,
Yeah.
you know, I just got this, you know, Sigourney Weaver
Yeah.
alien vibe, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in. I buy in.
Yeah.
I'm in straight away.
Tell me, hasn't Sigourney Weaver, through that role of Ripley, just really provided a platform for so many female actresses in these types of films? Yeah? Well, Cameron, in it, you know, like the female lead in the second Terminator film as well.
Yeah,
She kicked
yeah.
ass, man.
Yeah.
And Ripley kicked ass in all the films that she was in as well. She was the only one that survived the original first film. And so, yeah, I think Cameron, through her, and they kept bringing her back, and it never got tired. You know? And she even played a very strong role in Avatar, which is another Cameron film.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a good landmark. And remember that, because I think some poignant things are going to come up in later trailers that we're going to be watching today. Sound in the trailer?
Yeah,
Because I don't think there's much music, right?
No, it's straight horror stuff.
You know, there's just...
Lots of...
crazy drums.
Yeah. Very percussive. Lots of wahs,
Yeah.
like choir wahs and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Light insurgents, trombone, things of doom.
What's happening?
I need you back here right now. I need you.
Okay, baby, just calm down, sweetheart.
The editing is super fast.
Yeah.
Breaking up.
Yeah, very punchy.
They're not really telling you the story.
Start our new
Yep.
life.
We don't. You can't really. Well, I don't know if you went into 100 millisecond detail, perhaps, but
You can definitely...
because I don't want them to tell me the story in the damn trailer.
Yeah.
You know.
what do you think it's closer to, the original Alien or Aliens? I say the second one. I get the feeling that there's a lot more people involved. They feel like they're...
No, I think it's a hybrid of the two, right?
No, it's different.
Because
You might be right.
It looks like, and I just said I didn't want to know the story, but it looks like we're not going to be attacked by 1,000 aliens.
Yeah.
There's not going to be alien war. It's going to be the way it's supposed to be, and it's just one of those friggin' aliens is dangerous.
Yeah, well,
You know?
you saw in the trailer, there's this little spore. It starts out with a little spore that goes in the guy's ear.
Oh, okay.
And that's how he...
I didn't... Like, I'm not actually trying to pay too much attention to the trailer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to get the vibe and then move on because hyped, as, you know, yeah.
So I'm excited about it. It's going to be difficult for me to watch it. I can watch that a lot easier than I can watch The Shallows and stuff like that. I'm just cursed with this thing. Once it goes in, I can't get it out. And I visualise it at the worst times. You know, trying to get to sleep or whatever. And I just see, especially the gory stuff, the stuff that's full of human
uncomfortableness.
Yeah, no.
See, the thing is, I like the alien.
Yeah.
I got a soft spot for the little guy, so it doesn't bother me too much.
What's the official term for it again? It's an endo... It's got a name.
Xenomorph. Yeah.
It's a xenomorph.
We should be doing dates when these things are coming out, by the way.
Yes, it's in theatres May 18th.
May sometime?
Yeah, May 18th. And it's directed by, of course, Ridley Scott, the master, who does very little wrong. Even the stuff... He's doing a lot of producing for television now as well. He's like his showrunner, or not showrunner, but kicking off a lot of shows for HBO and things like that. So... I'm always excited when they're going to bring out more Alien films, as long as it's not stupid shit like Alien versus Predator and mixy-mashy stuff like that. And come on, man.
Bit of respect.
Thank you. Next one up. Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales. What are your initial thoughts when you hear that there's a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie? You excited?
Not so much.
Yeah, me neither, and I'm even less excited to find out that there are two directors. I have a very strict rule when it comes to two directors. If you are not siblings, if you did not come from the same mother, like if brothers isn't part of it, then there are not a lot of successful tales of shared directorship. Now, having said that, these guys, and whether you've heard of them or not, there's Joachim, Ronan, and Espen Sandberg, right? Now, a lot of people have no idea who these people are.
Including me.
I have heard of them before. They co-directed Kon-Tiki, which is let me show you.
What, they co-directed together?
Yeah. They both directed the film Kon-Tiki. Now, Kon-Tiki, I show students... invisible visual effects from Kon-Tiki all the time.
Okay.
Because there were no sharks, but these guys made sharks. Kon-Tiki's a true story. We'll keep this running for a second, and then I'll show you a trailer, not a trailer, but a poster here. It's based on a true story of a bunch of crazy white guys that got together and they lashed up a raft and decided to go across the Pacific.
Okay.
I think they took off from... United States or something like that. Here we go. Legendary explorer Thor Heyerdahl's epic 4,300-mile crossing of the Pacific on a balsa wood raft in 1947 with a couple of other guys. At one point in the movie, there's sharks all around the thing, and one of the guys reaches into the water as the shark goes past, holds onto a rope, reaches into the water and grabs the shark's tail and pulls it on board, and then all the boys wrestle the shark onto the boat and stab it and kill it and eat it. And that's how they survive. They literally... And then they use the blood to bring more sharks, and all of it's CG.
Right.
So some great behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, these two guys directed that. Joachim Ronan and Espen Sandberg. What they did before that, anybody's guess. I'd never heard of them before that point. Max Manus, Man of War.
Well, seem to have lots of watery experience.
And that's all I can come at. That's all I know that they could bring to this. So for me, they're batting low averages anyway, because you've got two humans directing. For me, film is all about a vision. You have to have a vision. And the vision is an interpretation of somebody else's idea. Or it's your idea, but either way, and the vision has to be singular. In order for the hundreds of people that have to go out and make the dresses, make the clothes, make the hairdress, make the sets, create whatever, somebody is responsible for how all that shit looks.
What's right and what's not right.
Absolutely. And it's, the art is so subjective, somebody has to know what this thing's going to look like. And the mess that we see now and then made in film is usually a result of some other arsehole coming and trying to implement his
Wouldn't
vision.
it be cool if we also stuck some of this stuff in
Yeah,
there?
and how about we have a giant spider? And we've discussed it before. Now, you're asking for trouble when there are two people that are sharing that vision. Now, the only times I've ever seen it work is, as I said before, when there is... when it's siblings.
When they have the same DNA.
Absolutely, like the Wachowskis and the Coens, and there's a many examples of siblings doing it and doing it quite well. And you always find that in the siblings, one is technical and one is super creative. And when you shove them together, you get a genius.
So they don't stand on each other's feet.
And they share the two hats. James Cameron is one of those freaks that has equal parts creative and technical. He comes from building models, he comes from visual effects and special effects and all that stuff. And he knows all the stuff that's going on the set, but he's also a visionary, right? You put those two together. George Lucas was very similar. He was quite technical, but he was also creative as well. And Spielberg is a great example of not being that. He's not very technical, but he's a guru at the creative stuff. So that if you get the sibling thing working, normally one of them is very creative and one of them is very technical. And one manages humans really well, the other one doesn't. One's good with the money, the other one isn't. But put them together, you get the perfect thing. So maybe these two guys are like that. It could be boyhood friends. I don't know what their background is. They may be perfect. So I'll be interested to see how, and you'll know very, very quickly, because a movie is a mismatch. It's a montage of two different sets of ideas. You'll see it.
All right. So what's then your opinions of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was interesting. I like Javier's character.
I like his hair.
I love that effect that there's on land they still look like they're underwater.
Yeah, that was somebody had a great idea there.
It's fantastic, yeah. And it looks to me, I don't know, we'll find more out about it. It looks to me like there is a little bit of young CG stuff going on with Captain Jack.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Because he looks like old Captain Jack, just younger.
Yeah, take all the wrinkles off.
Yeah.
And then spray him with some kind of
And
thing.
he's even on a boat and he's a pirate. And so he was a 12-year-old pilot and then he grew up to be a 65-year-old pirate and looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know, for me, they might have done all of the jokes that you can do
That's
with
what I think too. And it's
Jack
not
Sparrow
it's
and
not a
pirates.
heist movie like we said earlier, right? There's not okay. This is how it's going to go down, and then all of a sudden, person A is doing something, a diversion, and this person is doing it. This is all super reactive in the moment. Oh, well, I'm going to run over there, and then I'm going to run over here, and that gets tired.
Yeah.
Once you've seen the spectacle, what are you going to do?
You're going to have some other guy who's dead and underwater who's going to come back and fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be absolutely riddled with stunning visual effect shots and water simulation and all that stuff, because it's
the
it's
easy
Disney
stuff. I think we should be coming to the conclusion that that's the easy stuff in some respects. You just get 4 million people who are experts in visuals, put them together, and you've got that sorted.
I'm prepared to get let down on this one.
Yeah. Quickly, what was the music? I just want to check all of the music on each of these.
I think they're all trying to catch up with the original.
Had infected the seas for generations.
So got children singing spooky music,
Which they've used that motif before. The Dead Man, the Davy Jones locker.
we got slow-mos in the trailer.
This boy,
You've got Digital Jack,
Jack Sparrow.
or a lookalike, I don't know. Could be Digital
Follow
Jack.
him in.
They're actually telling us the story in a lot of ways.
Yep.
The trailer is a story,
Yep.
telling you sequentially, thing after thing, connected together. So we know how this guy came about,
Yep.
The dead.
and some orchestral tension.
Very cinematic, orchestral, yeah.
A girl and a sparrow.
I have heard stories of a mighty
See, I'm not
Spanish
hearing the
captain
prodigy.
who hunted and killed thousands of men.
No, men, no. Pirates. Pirates.
All right.
Yeah. We've seen enough. And they've just stuck with the theme for the 4 movies. 5. This is 5. 5?
Where's your ship?
I think it's 5.
Your crew.
I'm pretty sure it's 5. I think they did 3, and they should have stayed at 3,
Definitely, yeah.
and then come back and visit it in 20 years and reboot the 3 again.
And this conversation's going to come up in a little while down this trailer list as well.
Absolutely. I like the idea of Jeffrey Rush being in it again. There's not much he can do wrong.
Yeah, probably an origin story for him, I guess.
Yep.
David Wenham is in it.
Oh,
Where's he?
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either.
Yeah, I love it. I reckon he's great on screen.
He could be good. Yeah. Well, no, he is good. There's nothing wrong with him as an actor. I'm sure he'd do a damn fine job.
Yep.
Yep.
He loves to play, well, people love to cast him in. For anyone that doesn't know who he is, he's the brother of Boromir. Faramir? He's the brother of Boromir in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He's the narrator in 300.
He's the Athenian dude in 300.
No, he's one of the originals, but he loses an eye or something. So right at the very end,
was in
he gives the
300,
rousing speech and reminds the army of the great sacrifice of the great 300 before they charge off into battle. Right at the very end of the before the credits, and he plays this narrator tale quite well. He was the scholarly guy in
Dark City?
No,
Dark City?
Van Helsing.
Yes, in Van
He was
Helsing.
the monk.
He was also
a narrating.
You remember Dark City? Is it Dark City?
Maybe.
It's that Matrixy time warp thing. Dark City? Man,
Can't remember.
Anyway, okay.
So I'm prepared to be
Moving
disappointed with that one. Hopefully they can pull something out. Next one.
Next one is Wonder Woman.
So this is a pretty spectacular trailer, I have to admit. For DC are doing some pretty cool trailers. They're not too bad. This one in particular, it interests me. It's got some ancient sort of motifs going on in the design, in the set design, things like that. But the thing that's really interesting about this film, and I want to see if they can pull it off, it's set against the First World War. Not much happens against the First World War that isn't dreary and dull and whatever. How do you get the sexy side of a superhero film into that? I'm interested to see how they pull that shit off.
Yeah, true. First World War is just a lot of mud and it's just a big pain in the ass.
It was an ugly. It is first, isn't it? It's the first.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the First World War. It can't be the Second World War. The thing that I'm questioning that is that he goes in a plane. Was that a biplane?
We'll have to watch it again.
I'm pretty sure it's the First World War.
Well, there were photos of her in the First World War in
Batman.
Batman and Superman.
Yeah, and that I think is from this film.
Yeah.
They take that photo in this film, and they look like First World War Germans.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll accept that.
Yeah, because she said 100 years ago too, which is
and London here looks.
Yeah, you can see it's all steam.
Yeah, steampunky.
Yeah.
In the clothing and stuff.
Yep.
All right. My thoughts are you've got the origin story on the island, and I'm like, yeah, that might be a bit, I don't know, a bit lame.
Yeah.
Some of the accents sound a bit. I don't think. Could have they got Greek actors with actual serious Greek accents?
Yeah. Is that the birth? Is that the lineage of?
Yeah, she's supposed to be
of a Greek sort of
essentially
throwback.
A Hellenic hero.
Yeah.
Of some description.
Okay.
I don't know the full details, but it's something like that, right?
Yep.
You know how the Greeks have these sort of koshtosh and these sort of.
So here's the music that we were interested in. The theme.
Yep, that's not gonna work.
Don't stop the theme, you fucking idiots.
Go with the outfit.
Now you got that. You got those links that I sent you, yeah? The 2 bits of music that theme came from.
No.
One was Spy Kids, where the goom 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 goom
Okay.
goom goom goom, and then that the riff.
The riff.
It comes from. It's not Metallica. It's Megadeth, or it's one of those big glam hard rock sort of.
Okay.
I sent you I think it was through Skype, and I sent you the 2 videos because I typed it into Google and I said, what songs inspired that new theme? And there was a big forum discussion, and they narrowed it down to these two songs. And you play them, and it's like, of course, that's it.
Yeah.
So the music sounds cool. So what are your thoughts on this one? Is it going to be a goer or not?
Well, the music, and I've been checking the music on all of these. It's got this actiony, throwbacky, hardcore. Let's get this party started. Serious, music, and that just for me makes all the difference. So look,
well, it's Zimmer and Junkie XL.
Yeah, you were saying,
and that. I don't know what the hell, who put that together. I have no idea. But Junkie XL is a dance music sort of electronic artist, and Hans Zimmer is Hans Zimmer, and Zimmer's gave us the Pirates of the Caribbean theme as well that they're still sticking to. You shove those together, and you get this cool thing. It's really organic and cool, and a little bit of electronic, but also feels like there's some sort of hard guitar in there as well. Sounds cool.
So I'm hyped for that, and I'm sure the actiony bits will be great. I'm just a bit concerned about the non-actiony bits.
Yep.
That sort of Man of Steel, let's do everything super slowly.
Yeah.
That type of...
And how they're going to play the guy and her as well.
Let's draw it out.
Is he going to be a bumbler, and she has all of the good ideas and the intelligence, or do they place her in that role via her naivete of society?
Yeah, well, she already walked into a door after playing the fucking awesome music, and then you have Wonder Woman walk into a door.
Paul Feig's turning in his not yet grave, huh?
Yeah.
It's a reverse Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit weird. But so I'm not hyper hyped. I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, I'm the same. And Wonder Woman was with us as a TV series for many years, so there's some interest there. Where do you take that now that you go? And it's been on the boil for a number of years. I think at one point, Megan Gale, the Australian supermodel, she was fitted for the suit. She was in.
I think it's definitely got potential, and I definitely think it could be bloody awesome.
Yep.
Next.
Yes. We have another Pixar masterpiece in waiting. Although Cars 2, and we're talking about Cars 3 here at the moment, but Cars 2 let me down. Didn't get me.
Yeah, I didn't go and see Cars 2.
Didn't catch me. I found it difficult to watch
1.
it. Cars 1 was great. I really enjoyed what they did. I really enjoyed what they did with Cars 1. I think that it was amazing to see cars coming to life the way they did, and just the design. For me, it was design. What about you? The way the clouds looked like the rock outcrops in the desert looked like the tail fins from a Cadillac.
Yep.
And just everything about it. It was like, what was it? Radiator Springs was the town that it all happened in, and the whole thing was just car motif all the way through.
The best thing that they did, that they even patted themselves on the back for, the most genius move of artistic inspiration, was to put the eyes of the car on the windscreen, not on the headlights.
Absolutely.
Because that's what they initially thought, right? But when you move it up there, you kind of get the whole car as a thing. As a thing.
As a
not
person.
just Yeah.
Absolutely. Just the little things like the sky, the contrails from the plane that had passed over earlier was in tyre tread.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's just everywhere. Everywhere you look in the film.
That's why these things are so good.
They're
because
rich.
Yes, exactly. They've got masters working on every little tiny bit.
Yeah.
You
can almost call it Pixar rich.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like Finding Dory, Nemo, anything that Pixar. Well, look at Wall-E. Holy crap! You could be there you could watch it 8 times and still be seeing things you never even realised were there. It's Pixar rich, and I think we spoke about it earlier. Anything from Pixar gets storyboard presented to the creative hub over and over and over and over and over and over again, and they keep ordering up new panels, and those panels get defined and defined and defined and defined, And through that process, people have little brainstorm moments.
Yeah,
And they come up
yeah.
with this stuff, and it all finds its way. And then they say, "Okay, now let's go and watch
Polish
the film."
bits, knock off more rough edges. Realise there's even more rough edges when you
Yeah.
thought they were polished.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm excited about this one. Hopefully, it's a return to the first one.
However,
Yes.
the trailer. If we look at the trailer, again, I want to do the music test.
Yep.
We've got Inception stuff. Got lots of sound effects. We've got zooms and wooms.
Yep.
We've got car growls. A little bit of intensity music.
Yep.
But I'm not hearing the hook.
Yep. No.
I'm not hearing the prodigy.
No.
Breathe in the pressure. You know, come play this game, I'll fucking test you.
Yeah.
That's not in there.
They're trying.
They're trying.
You can hear that they're using that as an instrument. And then
Yeah.
you can hear this voice going, more speed, more horsepower.
But that's nobody we know. We don't care about whoever's singing that song.
It's not a remix.
Yeah.
They're not pulling something from the old school palette.
Another thing. Play it. Just play it again. Well, you don't have to play it again. It keeps fading out to black.
Yeah.
Black.
Yep.
Car. Black.
Yep.
Car. Black. Car. Black. Car. And that goes on all the way through.
And that's a trailer style, but not often associated with animated films. You do see that style, like Inception, like a spooky film. Often they'll do...
In the
they'll-
Aliens one, they
they'll
were
show
doing
an
the
ex-
fast cuts,
Yeah, well,
but
that's
they
right.
weren't shoving in big equal lengths of
fake,
black.
Yeah, you're right.
So watching that, I found that really disconcerting. It stopped me. I kept having to blink.
Yeah,
Reflective. I'll show you another thing about the trailer.
yeah.
What part of Lightning McQueen can you see in the movie, in the trailer? His butt.
The back, yeah.
You don't see his face.
Yeah.
There's no emotion. You can't... How are you going to connect with the character? So...
It is an interesting trailer, isn't it? It is an interesting trailer.
So, yeah. So there's a lot of things that are very weird choices. They're not really... Well, they're kind of giving you hints at the story. He's got to recapture. He's got to fight off the guy who's better than him. He's got to, go down deep inside.
And it looks
somehow,
like technology versus old
Yeah,
skill.
yeah.
That old. It's the
Exactly.
Rocky. It's Rocky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Rocky 4.
Yeah, something like
You
that.
know, where
yeah.
the Russians have got all the new tech, and then you've got the old school, and he has to go out and actually run around a dirt track and use the old school method. It feels to me like it could be a parallel sort of story where something happens, he has to go away.
Yeah, get in touch with his inner car and then come back. Yeah. Last thing I want to point out is that, we were talking about Moana just a little bit before, and how lush the animation is, and how much of an advantage Moana has, because they've got humans in their story. And humans have arms and legs and eyebrows and, lips and fingers, and they make poses and gestures and they snap. But the cars, they're kind of stuck. There's not a lot for the animators to work with.
Yeah.
You can kind of rock side to side and you can look.
Yep.
And you got the eyelids that can move. And then you're starting to run out of ability
what
to
you do. Yeah. Absolutely.
express.
And that's
So-
where I think the second film sort of fell over a little bit in pursuit of trying to find things interesting to do. Because one of the characters, the Michael, I think it was Michael Caine that voiced the British spy car. And I've only ever been able to sit through the first 20 minutes, half an hour of that film. And he's on a mission on an oil rig, and he's goes on the water, and he's a submarine and whatever. And he's using grappling hooks quite a lot to get up things and down things, things like that. It becomes pretty problematic. If there's no road involved, you're in trouble, yeah?
Yeah.
This is where I find it very interesting, Dan. This is the director,
Yep.
Brian Fee. You ever heard of him?
Never.
And you look here and you go, Wall-E, Ratatouille, these are great. And then you look down here and realise that one credit as a director. What film do you think he's credited as a director?
No idea.
Cars 3. Yeah, he's a rookie.
Oh, right.
He's a rookie director.
Okay.
Now, he has worked in the art department. He was a storyboard artist on Cars 2 and Wall-E, Ratatouille, Fox and the Hound, Tarzan 2, Mulan. So he's been around the 2D side of things. He's clearly a story artist.
Been around cars, obviously.
Absolutely. And I mean, story artists, like I said before, that's what they do for 2 or 3 years before they do anything in 3D. So it stands to reason that if he's pretty good in that space and he's proven his worth as a narrative person, but directing an animated feature, well, this is his chance. You got to start somewhere. You might as well start with a franchise that's part of the largest animation company on the planet and owned by the larger company on the planet. And no pressure, though. You'll be fine.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting choice, yeah.
I reckon if they show a photo of him in 2 years...
A few grey hairs.
There'll be some grey.
Yeah.
Because there's pressure.
Even this art, we should move on, even this art here that I'm looking at on IMDb, it has a side picture of Lightning McQueen, and then it's got a helicopter shot.
Yep.
There's no face of
Or him
Lightning.
flipping, but yeah, you're right. You never
There's
see...
no Lightning McQueen, you know.
And is that deliberate? Did they do that? Are they doing that?
It has to be deliberate. Of course it's deliberate.
And then why?
Why is the question.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Next one. I don't know what to make of this shit. Because, look... if you've ever seen a trailer that reeks of Jumping the Shark,
yes,
this is it.
Yes.
It's a kids' movie. It's Goonies, and then all of a sudden it's not Goonies, and there's a war. Looks like a war has happened, and kids are living in the street, and
okay.
they're supposed to be robots in disguise. How do you disguise yourself when there's nobody alive around and
everything's blown up? You disguise yourself as a blown up
as
car.
a pile of shit over there.
Yeah.
Which Bumblebee literally rises up out of a pile of shit.
Appears to be doing, yeah.
When you look at it, it's a kids' movie. Oh, no, it's not. It's Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, it's going to have sexual innuendo and it's a kids' movie. Oh, look at her ass.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's going to be a mishmash.
Michael Bay has lost his billion-dollar mind.
It definitely looks like all the heroes are kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you the thing that stuck out to me, just in comparison with all of these other things. This is the only trailer where the hero breaks the fourth wall.
Ah.
Fight like a girl? Yeah, I fight like a girl.
She's talking to us.
Is she?
Yes.
I think you might be right. She was looking down the barrel.
Multiple times, and she tells us...
It almost felt like she was being interviewed by a documentary. She's talking down the barrel.
She's breaking the fourth wall. She's talking... Whether there's a documentary in the film or not, it doesn't matter. She's still breaking the fourth wall in the trailer.
Yeah.
She's talking to us.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. Look, there's TIE fighters there.
Yeah, at least it had TIE bombers in it. That's what I was thinking about this stage. At least it's got TIE bombers in it. I could at least have that.
And every time a new shot comes up,
yeah,
it has no relativity to the previous shot. It's like, well, hang on, it's a floating metal island. No, wait. Did that dinosaur just vomit up a car?
Does he own the dinosaur? What
is he telling that dinosaur what to do? Michael Bay. And the sad thing is, he still will make $500 million with this film.
Another point that I wanted to make about this, our young heroine talking to the camera, is she's bragging to the fucking camera.
Yeah.
It's fucking... Show, don't tell. Don't tell us that you don't punch like a girl and you're fucking tough and you've got it going on. Demonstrate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, this is weird choices.
I'll watch it because I'll watch a Transformers movie every time because this is ILM, you know.
I have trouble getting through them, to be honest with you, because one of the things I want to do is have a look at the special effects and stuff, and often the Transformers and they're moving, and the camera's moving at the opposite direction to which the Transformer's moving. So these artists have put thousands of hours into designing these cool things and then animating them, and then Bay flashes by with blur and smoke and crap all over the place, and that's where I get a little bit lost, and I'm like, oh, what? If you're not going to show me the monsters, you know.
I reckon working for Bay would be just hell. It would be just hell.
You'd have to give up your soul a little bit, wouldn't you?
Fucking oath. It would be hell. He's a crazy man. But listen, once in your life, sit down, put a Transformers movie on, and listen to the commentary track. Listen to Michael Bay.
Oh, yeah. I have.
It's the craziest shit you've ever heard in your life. And when he starts to refer to himself in the third person about how I love turning up in the morning, getting out of the car, and I can hear the talk on the radio. He's here, he's on the set, Bay's on the set. That's how he's referring to himself, and that's how he's talking to himself about himself in the commentary track for the film.
And what's worse is when the rest of the crew or some of the crew start backing him up and start getting into that vibe of the Emperor's arrived, the Emperor's arrived.
Yeah, feeding the thing.
Yes, feeding the fucking psychosis.
I love it when he says, I walked past a bunch of artists at ILM and they were working on a shot from, what was it, Pacific Rim or something like that. And he's like, I was furious. I do the robots, you know. And it's, what?
Delusional.
You can imagine the conversations going on at ILM when he goes and briefs, you know, the technical directors and things like that. when especially the conversations that happen when the crazy man leaves the room.
Yeah, afterwards. When they're not beholden to him.
So once again, this is a Pirates of the Caribbean for me. I'm not excited about it. I'll watch it just to see the train wreck. The fucking Arthur tale and the Optimus beating up Bumblebee and all that sort of stuff. There's interest there, but it doesn't come in the form of...
I don't even know if Optimus was in that either.
No, he's in it.
No, he isn't in it.
No, he's beating up Bumblebee at one point because he comes back with different...
He's in it.
Is he in it?
He's in it.
Yeah.
But he's not in it.
No, you're right.
He's just like diving around and rolling on the floor. And
I get the impression he doesn't know who anyone is. It's like he's been floating in space and for some reason so they've gone out to get him or something.
All a dream.
Yeah, and he doesn't know who anyone is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, for me it was a weird choice that you don't have Optimus playing a lead role.
Yeah.
Talking to the camera, perhaps, at least. I don't know. Anyway.
Saying something.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Enough.
Very excited about this one.
Yes.
Illumination Studio.
How could you let
do very little wrong.
Just get away?
They really know how to make an entertaining animated film. The Despicable Me series is fantastic. And rewatchability is right there. You know, you can watch any one of those films over and over again, and it's all there. It's fantastic.
Can you remember what the bad guy is from the second one? From the last one? What's his name?
The guy with the orange,
bubblegum.
Not the guy with the orange tracksuit. That's the first one. The second one was
the guy with the orange tracksuit was pretty damn cool.
He was cool.
Yeah,
we had the shark under under his floor.
Who was the second one? I can't remember what his name was.
The second one was,
but they
El Macho.
El Maco. Yeah, and he's always dancing and stuff. They knocked it out of the park with that guy. That was he's in. I think he's in it to some extent.
This looks interesting. Where you got the twin brother and they don't know each other. And it's the Fabio with the blonde hair and the palace and everything.
Yeah.
Look at him. Oh, his hair would make you better.
But Steve Carell can do no wrong.
Jesus. Just I want to just go back if you can, just a bit to where he's punching him. People who are listening to the podcast can't see this, but the amount of effort and character and design. Just watch where this white guy is punching. Watch him. Just the poses.
Who doesn't love this guy? Look at him. Oh, his hair would make you better.
Just all of the fucking poses.
Yeah.
Just to make him just look funny, doing that punch sequence. That's what I love. And this is, one thing that, as we were just saying before, cars can't match that.
No.
They can't do that.
No. The lines of action. You get all these lines of action. This is so... Transylvania, beautiful animation, lots of lines of action, breaking all the rules of 2 or 3 frames between poses and extreme poses and things like that, and all for the performance.
Yeah.
And it's in every shot. But I love the textures.
Yes.
I love the design sensibilities. The super surreal designs of the ships and the cars and the planes and the rockets, and it's over the top, way over the top, and I love it. Did you have one of those when you were a kid? One of those things that fell down the wall?
Yes, and this is what we say. Everything in it is designed, handmade, to perfection. Yeah.
Yep. I think I saw Trey Parker's name there. Did you see that?
No, but that would only be good.
Kristen Wiig, Trey Parker.
Excellent.
So that's interesting. Kristen Wiig, one of the funniest women in the world. She's so funny. And she brings a lot to that character. The girlfriend, whether they got married or not, I'm not too sure. And the Minions.
Yeah.
I don't think they kicked many goals with the Minion movie. It was a bit of a letdown relative to these films.
You've got to have something, everything's got to be in balance.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be in balance.
Yeah.
Quickly, music before we go.
Yes, we did have some remix stuff going on there.
Of course. Now, as I was saying,
Goodbye.
Let me just turn this up a little bit.
Twin brother?
Twin brother?
I can't wait to meet my brother.
I don't know if this is a thing, if this is something.
It's
What's the difference between me and you?
Who doesn't love this guy?
and it's a remix because they brought rap to it. Originally, I don't think there was a lot of rap in the song.
Look at his face.
But-
He's so mad.
Sweet
I just
talker.
can't think of the
Place is amazing.
It's
track.
nice.
Leanne would
yeah,
know.
sure. I'm not. Basic groove. Villainy is in your
Okay,
blood.
don't know what it is, but it's
Scream.
The group
Or
can boobs.
you hear this
You ready to continue?
this riff.
What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one.
okay in the background. Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
So it's a remix, right? They've taken a riff that everyone's familiar with, like the Prodigy one from early on, and then they've brought it up to date. They've given it something extra.
So anyway, it's got the trombone in there, and it's kind of funny, it's kind of kooky, and it sets the mood, and it explains everything we need to know. So
They'll kick it out of the park.
Yes,
My guess is they'll kick it out of the park. It certainly is destined for my collection.
hyped.
Now, we got quite a few left, so I don't think we'll be able to get through all of them
How long have we got?
in this session. We might save a couple, and one of them I think we'll deliberately. Star Wars 8 is in our list, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll hold.
But we don't have anything.
We don't have a trailer.
No.
And it's due to drop at Celebration in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Star Wars Celebration in a couple of weeks. So we should get something at Celebration, and so we'll keep that off the list. This is the Spider-Man one. We love the suit. We love the that it goes on baggy.
What's up, guys?
Obviously, it's a really cool spin that
Can't you just be a friendly neighborhood?
Spider-Man really has the strength and the senses
Stay close
of
to
a
the ground.
spider, right?
Spider-Man from YouTube.
But the web thing is all Tony Stark. The suit is Tony Stark. He doesn't shoot webs out of his wrist the way the Sam Raimi original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man did. He needs a suit. He's actually got little canisters.
Okay, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So they're doing a kind of a new invention of it.
That's the reboot. The
okay.
Homecoming is the reboot of the Spider-Man franchise.
Right.
Although have seen Spider-Man in the Civil War.
Yep.
And in that, Tony Stark seeks him out. He goes and knocks on Aunt May's door and offers him the suit.
Right.
And in this film, he literally says, "Give me the suit back."
All right, so this is what I was sort of saying with Marvel sort of cross-pollinating all of their stuff and just allowing it all to mix together. And
And the Tony Stark character is playing such a massive role in the franchise, isn't he? The Iron Man character.
From what I've seen, he turns up in the comics everywhere as well.
Yeah. I'm interested to see the bad guy, Michael Keaton.
Oh, cool.
Is playing the Vulture, or I think,
of course,
I think
Michael Keaton,
is it the Vulture or some
No
kind
idea.
of bird-oriented character? But yeah, he's Michael Keaton. Now, Michael Keaton, I've seen him play the bad guy in some films, and he's a spooky motherfucker. Like, I think he played one where he was like the guy that owned. He was a tenant, or he owned the building, and this young couple, and yeah, he was turned out to be really quite a spooky guy.
Beetlejuice.
And Beetlejuice, he was very uneasy.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I'm interested to see. But are you getting reboot fatigue from Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm losing my place easily.
What the fuck is going on? How many Spider-Mans have we got? And every time they reboot it, they go in a radically different direction. And I've got fatigue.
Generally, I think that's kind of okay, but yes, I definitely have fatigue, confusion, dizziness, some dizziness and fatigue. Yeah. Too soon.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I'm not ready to dwell on it. Now, this I'm excited about. Mainly because our friends at Weta do monkeys better than anyone on the planet.
Smart one, isn't he?
The best monkey studio.
They're so good at it. Their modelling team, their creature creation team, right, sit in on autopsies of apes just to learn what the mucus that covers the eyeballs is made of and how it reacts, and it's there, man. It's on screen when you look at it. It's all there when the tears well up in the monkey's eye, when he's trying to emote and everything. Look at it.
Yeah, I know. It's so perfect.
So super believable.
Yeah.
Now, this is a good trailer.
Human gets sick.
They've got the black flashing thing going on, but it's not in your face. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's a little soft on either end.
And it's
they
in
don't do
between
it-
sequences.
Yeah, and they don't do it every second.
Yeah. Yeah, they use it a little bit, but for a film like this, you can get away. This is a dramatic film. Now, drama suits the black flashes, right? That's okay for a trailer.
There's slow moving things in the shot, and then you can have the slow black. But when you've got rapid lightning McQueen, zap, 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 and then you've got the flash, 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 it just becomes overkill, I think.
Yeah.
You talk about mercy.
It's so spectacular. Woody Harrelson, obviously, he plays an incredible mad bastard. All the way back to what was the Oliver Stone movie, Natural Born Killers.
Oh yeah.
Crazy man. He plays the crazy man really well.
Well,
are you into your conspiracies at all? On the day that JFK was assassinated in Dealey Plaza, they pulled 3 hobos off a train, and there's a famous photo of these 3 hobos being led to the police station for questioning. Woody Harrelson's dad was one of them, and that's true. Like, that's not a conspiracy thing. That's an actual. There's an arrest docket for his arrest on that day in the questioning. Some say he had involvement because one of those people looked a lot like a very famous FBI guy that was involved in Watergate.
So that's how Woody got his first job, maybe.
But I'm excited. I'm excited about the film. I love the build, the boil rate on these films.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that, I'm like hyped, but yes, like I think you said there, warming up to being enthusiastic. Yeah.
And I mean, it's war. It's war. I showed this to somebody that wasn't that interested in Planet of the Apes films, and I said, just watch the trailer and then tell me what you think. And then after the trailer, I said, okay, yeah, I'm excited to see that. I really want to see that. I want to see a war. I want to see how apes, without the technology, engage cannons and tanks and stuff. You know, how does this war go down? If we're to follow the law, they win it.
True.
They win the war.
True. Yeah.
So it looks very interesting. So I'm actually excited, and I'm absolutely excited to see how they do. Set the bar higher again for creature and animation and visual effects. And they know how to make a pretty cool trailer. Remember that trailer where it really started all black, and then snow was falling, and
They had that in that one as well.
and you gradually got to make out that it was a monkey by the snow landing on the features. Stunning. I think that was for the second one, or it might have been an early preview trailer for that one. Now this one here, Dunkirk. What have you heard about this?
I haven't heard a lot.
What I heard the other day is it got its rating PG-13, and there's a lot of talk about how it didn't get R-rated because of the blood and gore and.
What? How did it didn't get R-rated because of the blood and gore?
Yeah, it's PG-13, which is much lower rating.
Okay.
A lot of people expected it to be. I mean, they're dead people floating in the thing. And it's a PG-13.
Okay.
So the story of Dunkirk, if you're not familiar with it, is basically the British Army that were in Europe got backed over to the coast by the Germans, and then they had no way of getting off the beach. And there was a somewhat happy ending. I don't think I'm spoiling it because it's in your history books, where a flotilla of yachts, fishing boats, trawlers, anything that could float left England to go and rescue all these guys. And they rescued quite a lot, but not before it was a very bloody experience where you've got planes strafing the beach consistently through the whole thing. And the water was so cold you couldn't swim anywhere because, hypothermia and, yeah. And this is Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It looks pretty dark.
Okay, so my thoughts are, just to take a backward step here, Hacksaw Ridge, I think, with Desmond Doss, if you're familiar. Desmond Doss, I'm very sure that's the name. So Desmond Doss is a conscientious objector.
Yes.
In the Second World War in the American Army.
Went to war, but didn't pick up a gun.
Yeah, so he can become a medic. Anyway, he does some spectacularly heroic stuff, right? Bloody amazingly heroic stuff. Now, the problem is you got to have a bit of respect, and I don't think Hacksaw Ridge, for me, had too much respect because it's an action movie where people are shooting the shit out of things and there's like all of this, and I've only seen, bits and pieces of it.
Is that Mel Gibson?
It's Mel Gibson,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
And so what actually is a true story that doesn't need any fucking hype is heroic and amazing, and you don't have to add that thick layer of Hollywood nonsense on top of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, my opinion of that was just, and I haven't seen the whole thing, I've just seen bits of it, but my opinion of that was, you're not really being true to the material.
Nolan wrote it, directed and wrote it, starring Tom Hardy, who looks like he's some kind of pilot. Now, I can't quite work out. You might be able to tell me.
Brenner.
Oh, he's a powerful actor as well. I think it's going to win all sorts of awards. I think it's an award movie.
Yep.
Right? Now, in that, is he German or British?
Looks British.
It looks British, doesn't it? So maybe he plays a pilot that is saving people by shooting planes down and protecting them on the beach. Because Dunkirk, as far as I'm aware, is within bloody stone's throw across the channel. Like it's one of the closest points to get across to England.
Yeah.
So being able to fly across, is not out of the question. So I don't know, maybe that's what it is. So I don't know enough about the story of, well, I know the historical account. I don't know what aspect of that account is this story based on and where they focus in on.
So this comes to my point, building on the Desmond Doss thing, is that, and it doesn't look like the trailer, that they go down the heroic path because it's actually a disaster.
A total disaster.
Right?
Yeah.
In fact...
lots of people, thousands died.
Oh, yeah. And people got left behind. And, for example, the French are also trapped on Dunkirk as well, but the British kind of are trying to save the British. And the French keep saying, can we get on the ships as well?
Well, we can only take what we can take.
And it's a big fucking mess. So if they're not... if they're gonna, if Michael Bay has anything to do with this, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. So this is set to, where is it? Status. I don't think we have a listing for when it's due to hit cinemas.
Oh, it doesn't say 21 July.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, at the top there.
Oh, yes, 21 July 2017. So I think it's going to be award-winning. I think they're going to win lots of awards. It's in your face. It's one of those films that reminds us.
But I hope it's... Yeah, I just really do hope that it's that muted kind of realistic, not hyped.
Yeah. Cinematography looks fantastic.
Yeah, of course. It looks
some of those shots
amazing.
where you're looking over 100 men on this skinny pier and one of them turns around.
And
it's that's cinema.
And
that's
that
director
blue,
and cinema.
washed out grey. Yeah.
So that's why I think it's going to do well in the awards circuits. Okay, how excited are we about this film, Blade Runner 2049? I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited that it's a sequel and not a reboot. Because Harrison Ford is in it as his original Decker. Is it Decker or Deckard?
Deckard.
He's
Something
in
like
it.
that. Yeah.
I'm not happy that he's narrating this, because remember the big controversy over Ridley Scott was that the producers of the film, Ridley Scott's still quite young when he made this, right, and in his career, the producers of the film made them narrate against his wishes. He did not want... It wasn't supposed to be a private eye, Harry, you know. I knew she was lying, see? And here we are, here he's narrating.
Didn't they take that out in the director's cut?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it made the movie totally different. It was brilliant. You know, and you were able to read what Ridley Scott wanted there. My early guess, I don't think it's a spoiler because I have no confirmation. I think Deckard is a
replicant. Yeah, that was the sneaky surprise suspicion that people have.
The little unicorn origami thing had something to do with it at the end of the film. Yeah,
I forgot what his gun's called, but they put that gun right in the very first shot of it's right in the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know that Vangelis?
If you read the comment section down there, people are like, "It's better fucking have Vangelis in it." But I was surprised
because it's like a Star Wars movie without Williams.
Well, I was surprised. Why isn't Vangelis in the trailer? Think about
that end note that was held there had something about
it. Had 80s synths, those nice 80 whatever it is.
Vangelis, didn't it?
But you remember the trail to it? It's got this energy, this dum 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 dum. It's got the taiko drums going. Boom, boom, boom. I would have really loved to if he had heard some of that in there. Can I?
Yes.
Can we go down to the comment section in YouTube, assuming that this is I want to see the most... read the first comment out.
If this movie somehow ends up terrible, I hope the moments of me watching this movie will be lost in time like tears in rain.
I think that was awesome.
It.
That was an awesome comment.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's sort of comments that you want to see in the YouTube.
And all of the comments in down there of people who've watched the film and they love the film. So,
well, one thing I found very interesting about it is this is not a Ridley Scott film. This is produced by Ridley Scott, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Now, or Denis, it's probably Denis. When it's Denis with one N, it's usually Denis.
Okay.
And the last name is a bit of a giveaway. So this is the gentleman in question, Denis Villeneuve, French Canadian. What has he done?
Well, look what's in the last in that list.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Arrival.
Which we didn't really enjoy the pacing of. Which did you ever see it? Did you ever?
Yeah.
Okay, it was like pulling fucking teeth.
Look, to be honest with you,
idea.
I don't want to be sacrilegious here.
Yeah.
But that trailer's quite slow.
It feels like, well, when you think about it, the original film was pretty slow.
The original
not a lot of action going on. It was the world of who's the artist, the concept artist? Always forget his name. Great at building those big futuristic sci-fi worlds. I just can't remember. He's still kicking around doing. That was the wow factor. Was the look of it. It was dreary. It was a future that we hadn't seen very often. It was full of acid. It was acid rain, and lots of neon light and fog. lights beaming through fog, and it was beautiful to look at, stunning to look at. But the pace of it was really
contrasting with where the rich people live, which is this stunning,
pristine,
marble floored.
Yeah.
So, but that's true. That is part of the movie. That sort of lush attention to detail, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose that's what you expect from the movie.
So reasonably rookie in the mainstream directing game. And me personally, I was really disappointed to find out that that Ridley Scott is not directing the film. I think early on he said he was going to be directing the film. Written by Hampton Fancher, screenplay, Michael Green, screenplay. So it looks to me like maybe Ridley didn't have anything to do with the writing either. So, I don't know. It's got Ryan Gosling in it, so all the girls will go and watch him. It's got Harrison Ford in it, so all of the old school crowd will go and watch him. People are going to go and see it to see whether you failed miserably or you kicked 14 goals. So it's still going to make $1 billion, isn't it? As far as I'm aware, it's being shot here.
Oh, is it?
I think it's being shot in Sydney. I think Animal Logic have something to do with the post.
Right.
And some of the effects. I think some of the other houses in Australia actually got something to do with the effects as well. But I believe it's actually being shot here.
Okay, so what's your thoughts?
I think it's going to make a lot of money. I think I'm on the fence about whether it's going to succeed creatively, narratively. We'll have to see where they go. I hope they don't. I hope they leave the open-endedness of it that was critical to, you needed to, when you walked away and you weren't 100%. You really didn't quite understand how this all came about and what don't I know? It's one of the things that it made the experience memorable. I hope they don't play that up too much.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a fine line, and don't fuck this one up.
I think we'll do one more. Now, I do have... I don't think we should have a look at this because it's too poor, but this is some smuggled out footage from Thor Ragnarok from Comic-Con. It's Comic-Con leaked footage.
There's a trailer kicking around, though.
Yeah, they're all fan-made.
Are they?
Yeah. They're taking shots from different Thor movies.
Right, okay.
There's some fan-made... Hulk animations that people have used as well. There's some nice fan-made trailers, but none of them are official. The only ones I can find that actually are official are these ones that people have smuggled out.
Right.
They all seem to be of the same poor telephone sort of footage. So I don't really want to have a look at that because I don't think it's befitting. But we might as well have a look at this one. And this, of course, is Justice League. And like any good superhero film, it starts with a guy getting on a horse.
In the snow.
In a Han Solo outfit. Is he not?
Yes.
Is he not in Han Solo's exact jacket from...
Is he going to cut the horse open and climb inside?
I thought they smelled bad on the outside. So obviously Batman, he's can't find his plane, can't find his truck, or he hasn't got a bat full drive, so he has to take the bat horse to go and find put together his crew. Now, we discussed this the other day when we looked at Superman, Batman versus Superman. We think that the nemesis, the enemy in this film, in Justice League, is the character that was part of the dream sequence for Batman, Darkseid. It's pronounced, and it's S-I-E-D.
I'm only trying to get my head around a lot of this stuff,
so therefore those flying, demonic-looking things that are running around, sort of that was what led us down that path. Also, that sequence that was taken out of the theatrical release where right at the end of the film, when they go to arrest Lex Luthor, he's in the goo inside the super ship, and right in front of him is a image of some person that could be Darkseid, it's either Darkseid or Darkseid. I don't know. I'm not a fanboy. It's SIED. But three of those cube things, which are some kind of device, source of power, whatever, from that dimension, one of those things goes into making Cyborg.
You see that in
this film.
Yeah.
And I think this film is largely about Cyborg.
Okay.
I think we're pulling the crew together to go and fight / convert, do something with Cyborg, and in doing so we're introduced to this bigger threat, and there's puppet mastery going on.
So
what did we think of this?
This is where the sort of Marvel and DC are kind of following that, what I was trying to sort of explain earlier on.
The web.
Yeah, that bigger world that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger with, more and more and more layered on top. Yep. So they're going in that direction. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm quite excited for it. I think it looks pretty damn cool. I want to see what's going on, and I want to see how this all works. But yeah, again, they've got that kind of Man of Steel. I don't know. One of my friends was talking to me about this stuff, and he sort of said, and he was in reference to this type of stuff, superheroes are meant to be fun, aren't they? And you can see here we start off with bleak and horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it does warm up at the end, and as I've been sort of talking about, it's got the Beatles. All right, so we're doing a remix on the on a kind of a historical piece of music to try and put it in a new context, and that all goes together to form that, and it's exciting and it's interesting. So yeah, I don't know, it's got me captivated. I think I'm positive about it.
Yeah, it's there's some cool elements there. Character-wise, there's some good decisions that can take you in some cool directions, like the belligerent, drunkard Aquaman is downing bottles of Jack Daniels and diving back into the ocean, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's Jason
I don't know his
Momoa.
Name. Yeah.
And he's a giant.
Yeah.
Man, he's very big. He played Conan. There's in the reboot of Conan, but he also played Drago in the very first series of Game of Thrones. He was the barbarian king that Khaleesi went and married, the warrior king sort of thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him. It looks like the smartass is the Flash.
Yeah.
The guy that takes himself way too serious is the Cyborg guy. She's just the stunner that keeps the guys happy. The Malmoa's there to keep the girls happy. And I love the scene. There's one scene in the trailer where the Flash asks Batman, "So what are your superheroes?" He says, "I'm rich."
Yeah.
And that's realistically exactly what his superpowers are.
Yeah.
Is his bank account.
And I like the last joke that they throw in the end there. I'm glad. What does he say? I'm glad you're playing nice with everybody. And then Aquaman says something derpy, and then he says, maybe not for long.
Yeah, I don't think it's not going to last. And the big question is, of course, are we going to see Superman? Is Superman going to come into this?
That's a good question. He is actually missing from that lineup there. I didn't realize he was missing, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I have to tell you, the scariest / most disappointing thing is Zack Snyder's directing it. And we had our discussions about Zack Snyder, and we had our discussions that were backed up by the numbers when we looked at,
Yeah.
where
Let me have a look here.
He kicked a few goals with 300, but then again, that was based on a Miller graphic novel. He didn't quite kick goals with Watchmen, which once again, how do you fuck that up with a Miller graphic novel? I don't know, man. I just think DC are putting too much weight in this guy, and there are too many good directors around. Why does this guy get? And I think he was the executive producer or something of Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah,
so he's
that's
their
right.
golden boy. He's the DC Comics golden boy, and I'm not seeing the product that warrants that. Not like Abrams is a golden child for the Star Trek. You know, you can bring him in. He's always got some affiliation with it. He's the guy that brought all the crew together, and you know, that Bad Robot love affair with Paramount, and it works really well. And so obviously he deserves the role and deserved the shot on a Star Wars film, the critical Star Wars film, because of that background, because of what he did with the Star Trek stuff, right? What has this guy done? Nothing. And every time I see him, every time I see him being spoken about or whatever, I'm not seeing that this guy gets it. And that's why I'm disappointed. He could prove me wrong. He might be able to reset the ledger, but I'm not holding my breath for that.
Yes, no, that's a good point. Yeah, so
we've got a couple left there, and I think we'll call it. Let me see where we are here. I'm going to tell you exactly how long, because we forgot to set the clock there, so I have no idea how long this has been going for.
Oh, it's about an hour and a half now, I think.
So I think we'll leave it there. We'll talk about. There's a couple that we'll talk about next week. We want to have a look at Valerium. It's got a new trailer. In fact, we won't play it, but we've got to see this first. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the colours in that.
See, they're harking back to the comic books.
Yeah.
They're drawing so much out of those comic books.
And to hell with the believability. It's like, no, it's Alien. I can have rocks like that.
You know what I want to also see in, like, I want to see in Guardians of the Galaxy, I want to see Star-Lord called Star-Lord.
Yeah.
It's a slightly derpy name, you know. He is fucking Star-Lord. Fuck you. He's fucking Star-Lord. You know, and I like that kind of attitude.
Yep.
Look, perhaps on my last point, and we'll get to this more, but play this. And what music have we got playing?
This mission is a simple in and out. Agent Valerian, you'll be running solo.
I only work with my partner.
Once we get past
We're
the
a team. Let's go.
who's who.
You're running nearly 20
It just
minutes
comes up
late.
now,
Yeah,
I think.
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
It's the Beatles again.
Welcome to Alpha.
And it's so fitting.
It fits. Exactly
Yeah.
it fits.
Yeah.
The city of 1,000 planets, where for hundreds of years
And then more lines
every
come up
species
and,
has shared their
you know,
knowledge
Yeah.
and their intelligence with each other.
Visually stunning.
It's
I liken it to Avatar.
Yep.
Where the colours are so vibrant. The phosphorescence that's going on in a lot of the aliens and things like that. It's just stunning. It's beautiful.
Of peace and prosperity.
But yeah, that music.
Just
An unknown
fits it
force
perfectly.
wants to destroy
And you're
all
hooked.
we have
It's
created.
got a hook.
That voice.
Agents Valerian
Do you hear
and
that
Lauren,
female
you have
voice?
less
Yeah.
than 10
Who's that?
hours to find the threat and
Sounds like
eliminate
Kate
it.
Blanchett.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, it might be.
It sounds
yes.
like Kate Blanchett.
I
And when
think-
she narrates
yes.
things,
Yes. You know, you're in for some...
let's drop the mic.
Yeah. Yes, it is Kate Blanchett. I'm very sure now. More and more sure.
And so this is the new trailer. This is the trailer number 2, which has got even more goodies and gold.
To be the guardians of our future.
Yeah, that's her. That's got to be her.
I'm looking up the... Or is she in... Hang on a sec.
You sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, look at it. Just sitting it next to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It
How much
looks...
time left?
Yep.
Our destiny is in your hands.
Anyway,
God, that voice. It sounds so much like Kate Blanchett.
it does.
I taught him how to do that.
So I'm super excited about this film.
So that one and Guardians of the Galaxy is sitting right up the top for me.
Yep, yep, and I'm excited that it's 2017 release as well. Have you got a date there?
Yep. One sec. Yeah. You're going to have to wait till August.
That's not too far. That's not too. Considering we've got to wait till bloody December to watch Star Wars, I'm still I can't believe we haven't seen a trailer for Star Wars. We saw that little teaser, which is quite literally showing us the last scene from the first film, and then hearing a voice going, and cut, and then some guy said, welcome to the first shot, blah, 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 and the crew clap, and then that's it. And you showed us nothing. Like, we've already seen that shot.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
So they're keeping everything
They know
pretty tight-lipped. And, man, there is an entire blog industry online at the moment of people just speculating and trying to guess who's what and who's Snoke and who's this and who's that, and no one knows. And there's a leak. No, there's not. It's not a leak. And it's crazy. It's like bloody UFO conspiracy stuff. The conspiracy nuts have found something new to go and harp on about.
Yeah, spawned a whole industry.
That's it. All right. So the only other ones we were going to have a look at, and we'll use a bit of time next week to have a look at, is the King Arthur, the new King Arthur trailer, which expands a lot on what that's potentially all about, and I just think it looks spectacular. Takes us back to that Excalibur grandness, and the Mummy trailer, man, the new Mummy trailer, the number 2. Whoa, that shit's going full on, and it looks spooky as hell. You've got mummy minions crawling through, and there's those spooky shots of dark caves, and and lights all go out, and it feels like that Saturday matinee spook fest, just wrapped around a Tom Cruise franchise. So it's like Mission Impossible rolled up with, the Mummy.
With the dead.
Yeah. So we won't have a look at it, but we'll try to squeeze that in next week. Quite an exciting year for film in our type of films, which are rich with visual effects and tentpole. So the big ones for you that you're excited for is Valerium and
Guardians again.
And Guardians. I'm equally excited for those two, but also very, very keen to see Planet of the Apes as well. Very, very keen to see how a lot of it's basically a Weta show, no matter how you look at it, and nobody does creatures better than Weta. So I'm very interested to see how you hold up an entire film on digital characters like that. So that's it for another show. We'll touch base with a lot of this stuff as it starts to release. We'll jump in and have a look at some box office and some behind the scenes and things like that. It looks like the show itself is starting to feel a little bit more geared towards film and games, and then with the odd things sprinkled around here and there. Speaking of that, Rick Legato is going to join us next week as we have a look at
Battle Beyond the Stars.
This is classic sci-fi from 1980, and I've flicked through it. I haven't seen the film in its entirety yet, but I flicked through it and I said, yes, this is gold. We'll get a lot of joy out of it.
This is B-grade gold, and its shiniest.
I think I mentioned to you, it's that era of sci-fi films where everyone's playing catch-up to Star Wars that came out a couple of years earlier, and it's very hit and miss. Even the good ones.
We don't need the budget of Star Wars. We can do it without the budget.
Anyway, so that's in store for us next week. We're looking forward to Rick coming in and seeing us after the birth of his new bubba.
Cool.
And hopefully he can give us a rundown on where he is with his game as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
that he's been working on. And so that's it for another week. And as we just get our outro music ready to go. Any parting words, Dan, other than farewell?
I don't know. Farewell. Save often.
Ditto.
How many of you are men?